We're joined by Terry. How are you doing, Terry?
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Well, you know what my Friday night shenanigans and all night, don't you?
Yeah. Mate, you've been on one this week, though, haven't you, man? You had a lot to get off your chest.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, and obviously it's my birthday Sunday, and it started yesterday, and it'll end Monday. So,
Yeah, but you've just been letting a few bullets fly.
well, do you know what, Terry? Sometimes you've got to get things off your chest and tell it as you see it, haven't you? I guess you know. So, so there you go. I don't really know where to start. Really, obviously, phone issues, lost all my material, all my numbers. So obviously the people in the contacts who watch channels have to email me the number, won't they? Pocketcorner@mail.com, bottom corner there. But moving on from that, well, I suppose we should really start with that show last week. And I've got most of my friends' opinions and people that are around me. I just wanted to get your take on it, Terry.
I just thought it was a show that he did to pay Dave off. I imagine that's probably the last fight on Dave's matchroom contract. Eddie was just like, I've got to pay him a certain amount. What's the cheapest way I can do it and do it in a way where I don't have to deal with him again?
Yeah,
And I feel that's what this card was about. Because if you think about it, Russ, the card doesn't go anywhere, right? We're not really going to see Makhmudov in a world title fight because he's not that level. Kelvin Fawaz might fight for a British, and I hope he does. I hope they give him a guy like Sam Gilly or Ishmael Davis to fight for the British. He deserves that. But after that, where's he going? Answer is nowhere. Where's Josh Padley going? Answer is nowhere. He had a nice little story with Shakur Stevenson, and I'm happy that he got some bread and all that sort of stuff, Russ. But
yeah,
he's going nowhere. So I'm going to ask you a question.
yeah.
What did that Sheffield card do for Sheffield boxing?
Well,
Nothing.
first of all, they need to start telling the truth about how many people were there because I know the company that do all the curtains and the lighting and blah de blah. So it weren't a 10,000 sellout, so that's
I
pony.
heard it was 15.
It only holds 9,800 for starters.
There were people on the roof.
Right, so tell the truth. Stop giving your little minions, on YouTube, little bullets to fire that didn't happen. So that's the first thing. The second thing, there were no world title on there. Now, Eddie prides himself on putting world titles in every big show. We've got Rhino there. Where's he ranked about 90 odd or something? Headlining against Makhmudov, whose feet looked like they were in cement and his hands looked like they were in treacle. Now, is this where we're at now? Is this where we're at? Because if you back up a few more year, Eddie would have that some of them show fights on there wouldn't have got on a matchroom show, would they? So then we're going to go and look at the rankings of the fighters on the show, and you divide it by how many fighters are on there, and you think, God, we're scraping the barrel. Now, the show, in my opinion, was built on nostalgia and Rhino being this Mr. Humble guy and all that. You see where I'm coming from? Fairy stories on YouTube, blah de blah. Right, that's what it was built on. Right, they said he was stronger, faster, quicker than a speeding bullet. He's an Adonis. He's in the shape of his life. He can win a world title. Jamie Moore's words. You just seen what happened. I heard the gasps from somebody who was there, and he said the gasps were unbelievable when he got on the scales because they all knew. No, he ain't in the shape of his life, is he? So it is what it is. I think the fans were duped again, but there were a lot of emotion there because of Ricky Hatton's funeral, and a lot of people have been starved of action. So they timed it perfectly, didn't they? But for people like Adam Smith to say that Sheffield's a hotbed of boxing, how? How? So if that's a hotbed of boxing, that will trickle down to Doncaster Dome shows, won't it? And small hall shows because didn't Sam Jones and Spencer Oliver yesterday say small shows are thriving? Well, they're not thriving because I had Max on last night and I went through Mark Bateson's show, and there's like 26 fighters on there, four TBAs, four debuts, and 12 of them were rankings over 1,000, and three of them were rankings over 800. So that's not thriving, Terry, is it? That's white collar. but nobody's going to speak out because they don't want to lose access and they want to stay in the mix. I personally know what people in the industry think about small hall, but the media are telling us a different story. You see where I'm coming from? And that's my argument. I know it sounds negative, and I know that people can say, oh, Russell's a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm trying to get the point across that the media are the problem. And the ex-boxing guys that have got these slots on these media platforms, like TalkSport, we now say TalkSport's the boxing establishment. All the traffic goes through there. You know that, and I know that. But I also know that TalkSport watch channels like mine and other channels who are a lot smaller and don't get access. And they pinch what we say and they put their spin on it. But they know what's going on, but they're going to be out of a job as well, aren't they? See where I'm coming from?
You know what, Russ? The real problem with boxing isn't all that stuff. It's that most people want to consume boxing for free. That's the problem, right? People have no problem buying a season ticket to Bury. People have no problem buying a season ticket to Northwich Victoria. People have no problem buying a season ticket to Guiseley Town or Northallerton FC. They have no problem doing that. But you say to someone, look, just support your local boxing scene, buy 2 tickets a year, 60 quid each. As you'd say, Porky, I ain't got that money. And so fans generally don't put their hands in their pockets. Remember, in boxing, you don't have to buy replica kits. You don't have to buy anything else other than a ticket. Yeah? So if everyone that says they're a boxing fan bought 1 ticket to a show, that would be the first step. Yeah? Because then you'd have more money. You could do better fights. Like, it's all a function of money. If you've got a grand, so let me start again. If you've got a budget of 50 grand for a small hall show, it's going to be a better show than if you've got 20 grand. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. My argument with all that is the prices. Now, I've got the prices. They're on my phone as well. It gets worse, doesn't it? But the bell guys are getting more money than they used to. Obviously, the board are charging more. Judges and ringside physicians, the inspectors and doctors and referees, they're all getting more money than they used to. The board are charging more. Now, that has a knock-on effect with small hall, doesn't it, really? If they're going to start charging these fees. I mean, we've got these British Boxing Board of Controls guys like Robert Smith, Charlie Giles, and all the rest of them. They're all slinking about at these shows, but what are they doing? Because whenever I've been at these shows, when I work for is it at Sheffield, I just see them slinking about, doing nothing, having a chat at the bar or going for something to eat after the weigh-in. You've been for dinner with me and Dennis and that with these people, haven't you? And it's all paid for, isn't it? They're all on free gratis. It's all got to stop. What's going back into small hall? They keep fining people left, right, and centre for anything. Where's this money going? I mean, if you go onto their accounts, it's all down as expenses, isn't it? We know because Rico sent me it all. It's all down as expenses now. Up until a couple of years ago, I don't even check it now because I know what they are. Up until a couple of years ago, Terry, they were doing like 18, 19 grand a week for a full year, all through expenses now. Expenses can be anything, can't it? It can be business class flights. It can be tailor-made suits at the Bellagio in Vegas. It can be, yeah, I put a couple of them dressing gowns away for me and my missus before we jet back because they all take the missuses to conventions, don't they? Do you see how I'm coming?
Ooh, so I don't know, and I'll tell you why.
I know, because I've been for dinner with them. I was
No,
there.
so
Charlie
here's
Giles
what.
said, hang on a minute. I was there when Charlie Giles said to Dennis, hey, we're coming to WBC convention. Dennis went, oh, I don't know if I don't know what my schedule is. He goes, oh, let's take the wives and all that. It's a good do, Dennis. And I was looking at it, and this is years ago. This time I was thinking, is that really what goes on with this lot? But that's not going back into small hall. They just keep putting prices up. So you guys like Izzy and your Steffi Bulls, Ryan Rhodes, people like that, they're already behind Mark Bates's. They're already behind the ball, aren't they? Before they start, with fees and stuff like that. That's my argument. But nobody's coming out and mentioning this on Talk Sport, are they? When they do get him on, all they want to talk about is something to do with Eubank and what he said about him and all that. It's
All
not
right,
small those booming, please. Don't tell me that. Which
all
state?
right, but you got a Nike tracksuit on, right?
Yeah.
I was with a few Nike bods when I was in the States. Because we were with the Timberwolves, so the few Nike bods out there, mate. The things they were putting on expenses, Russ. Yeah, if you applied the same principle to them, you wouldn't be wearing that Nike tracksuit. The stuff they were putting on expenses was ridiculous. You know what I mean? I ended up. I love it when I talk to myself. So I ended up not spending, mate. I mean, I went out right from 8 in the evening till about 2 a.m. I didn't buy a single drink. These guys are just whacking this on expense accounts. It's just all on expenses. Um, I've just had to put my own expense claim in. Like, we'll say it was 9 grand for a trip. Yeah. Expenses are just a part of doing business, Russ.
Yeah.
So I'd want to look at the way we look at it, Russ, is we say to the board, can you show us your expense policy? And then let's see if wives are allowed or if they have to pay for their wives. Do you see what I mean? Because think about this. If I already have a hotel, right, because I've got to go, and it's fair that I do that on expenses because I don't want to go, I can take my wife, right, as long as she pays for her flight because the hotel's already paid for.
Yeah. This lot don't pay tax, border control. If it's changed since Rico sent me that PDF, whatever it were, then file thing, it did my head in after 15 minutes. That's not me. I don't look at shit like that. But point I want to make is they didn't pay tax up until a couple of years ago. Whether they do now or what, I don't know. But I think it's a non-profit making organisation. Basically, I personally think the plastic gangsters. That's what they are. It's something that was set up a long, long time ago and and people feel that they have to go through that organization to see shows. You don't. We could set one of them up and nobody could do a thing about it as long as the health and safety matters are dealt with. Like ambulance there. The ambulance people have to be there, don't they, for every show, waiting outside and all that.
Yeah.
There's doctors there and that, judges and referees, bellmen. We don't need anybody else. Do you know what I mean? And you could pay them a lot less than what they're getting. Because let me tell you this. Some of them people who were like doctors, one of them's married to Dominic Ingles' sister, isn't he? And he's had a good do out of boxing. That Asian geezer. I've met him several times and that. He's had a good do out of it. Same as Dominic's had a good do. He were on area camp.
Well,
Dominic for years, him and his mum and dad.
wait, but what you're looking at a doctor, so you got to look at what that doctor could be doing instead, Russ. So he could be doing private work, right, on a grand a day. So if he wasn't there on Saturday night doing the boxing, he could
They're
be.
on fortunes, Terry, to sit there just to look at somebody's eyeball if it gets cut.
It's not a fortune
Okay,
relative to
then what
what else
about
they could be
amateur
doing.
doctors then? They do it for free, bit of fuel.
Nope, nope, they don't.
Oh yeah. Well, I've seen doctors at amateur shows.
No, 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 no.
For petrol.
We've put shows on, Russ. We pay for the
Now
ambulance.
I've seen Mick Whale put shows on, and doctors are doing it for a bit of petrol money. They're not doing it for what they're getting pro game.
Well, because it's not the
For
pro
their own
game.
eyeballs.
Well,
Amateur
wait,
shows.
well, no, 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 mate. You're trying to make a point that's not making sense at the moment. Yeah. Why would I do it for free?
Because the love of the sport. Why do
Oh,
amateur
that's
trainers do it?
ridiculous.
Why
That's
do you
ridiculous.
train amateurs, Terry? Do you do it for?
Huh?
Do you get paid?
No.
Right. So you do it for what? Love of the sport?
To keep myself sane.
Yeah, you don't need the dough anyway. A lot of amateur trainers, Julian McGowan broke his back and lost his marriage training fighters.
Yeah.
He never took a penny. He never even took a penny off Gary Sykes in pro game. Not everybody's like that. Look at Chris Smedley. Did they go around country with tournaments, him, Martin Liam and them? They don't take
All
a
right. All
penny.
right. Mate, cancel your membership scheme on here. Do everything for free.
Me?
You.
Why should I?
For the love of the game.
I put 8 years into this, mate.
For the love of the game.
Nah, you're talking shit.
There you go, mate. Thank you. Thank you.
You're talking
Yeah.
shit. You're talking shit. You're talking shit, mate. What I give on here, do me a favour. What, £5.99 a month at members there? What do we get? £2.11 after they've all had their slice of cake. Do me a favour, mate. You know what this channel makes. It's a non-profit making channel. All right. It doesn't even pay fuel, mate. It's me getting
Hey, look at you. Your Nike tracksuit, free gratis.
These night tracksuits weren't free, mate, but I have had stuff I had at job. Yeah, I've had clothes of companies and stuff like that, leather jackets and that, but don't try and turn it on me. We're talking about amateur trainers. If you were on the dole, would you do that for free, that amateur training? If you weren't like a banker, would you? These doctors are on 150 grand a year with a day
which isn't
jobs. Hang
which
on.
isn't a lot.
Whoa, 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 because we're going off track here. These doctors are on 150 grand a year for their day jobs. At night time, they're getting 600 quid plus for pro shows to hang about and chew the fat. Why are they taking that when they're on 150 grand a year? I'm not on 150 grand a year. So
Yeah, but
why?
look, 150K is not that much in Starmer's Britain, mate. And I know people are going to jump in the comments and slaughter me for that. On God, yeah, 150, maybe you're clearing 7-2. Yeah, but then on that money, I can't live in Conisborough because someone's going to put my door through and say, I want everything in your house. So now I've got to go and live somewhere else, maybe Bawtry Road. I'm going to have to get a house on Bawtry Road
What, in
in a little
Messing?
5 bed. Now my costs have gone up. The thing is, Russ, here's what happens in these companies. Someone's going to come in and go, why are you paying doctors 600 quid a night? And they'll go, we've benchmarked it to what they would be earning doing something similar elsewhere. That there are rules, so they can't charge too much and they can't charge too little because there are rules. So there's normally a good reason why these things happen. Yeah. And it's not being greedy. Like loads of doctors love boxing, but remember, they got wives and kids at home. Yeah, so it's like you can't just be going out boxing and not earning money.
Let me tell you this, right? I was sat with Dennis once having something to eat, and Dennis told me about this certain doctor. He says, you know him there? He's on a fortunes in his day job as a doctor. And I says, oh, is he? He says, yeah. He said, do you know what he lives on? Now he's mortgage free. I says, what? He lives on boxing money. Right? He gets by with the boxing money that he gets some shows. And he's been leaving his NHS fees that he gets every month in bank for donkey's years. I says, oh yeah. He said, yeah, he's a millionaire. And I went, wow. And Dennis went, I missed a trick here, haven't we? Look at pressure Dennis has, right? And everything he has to outlay. He says, I think we should have gone to school and studied, shouldn't we, Ross? You see where I'm coming from? So they're on a
But,
good.
but wait. But he's done right for himself though.
Pardon?
Den's done all right for himself.
He's done all right with that scrap metal, yeah.
Yeah, he's done all right.
But he
You know.
didn't. He didn't always have it easy, Dennis. He told me a story when he used to sell crockery at Skeggy. When he left school.
Yeah,
You know that story, don't you? So,
yeah. But I wouldn't say to Dennis, "You're a multi-millionaire, mate. Put your shows on for free."
well, do you know what, mate? I can't remember a time where Dennis made on a show when I were there because you're up against it all the time, Terry. You see where I'm coming from? It's an hard slog out there now, these small halls. Hard slog, unless you're washing money. You see where I'm coming
Yeah,
from? So,
yeah. But it's a hard slog, Russ, because people aren't buying tickets.
but don't tell me on Talksport that the small hall scene, Spencer Oliver, is booming.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like, I don't think he's qualified to have those conversations. I mean, he's I don't know what do you call it, man. He's really right now. He's just become a groupie, hasn't he?
Well, it's very disappointing because the Conor Benn situation, he just got his feet under the table there, and him and Simon Jordan, aka Jug Ears Oliver and Judge Jordan, they went after Crusher Ben. They went after him. And what happened? Simon Jordan were having meetings, one in that fancy hotel. What did they have? Salmon and cucumber. They were talking about him and Crusher met, didn't they? Crusher pulled
Yep.
up. Yeah, yeah, I'm Crusher. Pulled up in his whatever car with a wrap on, and Judge Jordan were there, poured his heart out, and then he came back on Talksport the following Monday and said, no, I believe Crusher is innocent, it's contamination. Well, we're over 3 years now that the original test came out with September, end of September, 3 years ago. We're middle of October now, over 3 years ago. We haven't had an explanation yet. And nobody wants to talk about it, do they? The guards saying, oh, it's terrible what's happened to Crusher Ben. How is it? How many people has Crusher Ben knocked out when he's been juiced up? We're never going to get to know. Some of these people are bigger than boxing. Your Tyson Furies, your Joshuas, your Crusher Bens. You see where I'm coming from? Nobody's come out and given an explanation. These people, you're right, they are groupies. They're embarrassing, But what's Spencer Oliver going to do if he's not at Talksport? What's he going to do him?
Be
Where's
a ringside doctor.
go? Hey,
600 quid a go.
what?
Be a ringside doctor for 600 quid a go.
Spencer Oliver would not be able to get on in boxing. Now, what's Johnny Nelson going to do? Hey, aka Banana Man. What's he going to do now? Now Sky are running his contract down. What? They're going to give him odd slots, aren't they? Is it Sky doing Wardley, Parker on Sky Box Office? So Johnny might get a slot there. But they're winding it down, aren't they? What's Johnny going to do? He's already preparing, isn't he? He's already set a YouTube channel up, hasn't he? He's eating off my plate now, but they've slaughtered me for 8 years. See what I'm going? Well, am I right?
You're right, man. You got
I
to go
never
after
got a
him.
penny from this for 16 months, did I, when I started it? Because I didn't know what I was doing. You've got to, in them days, you had to hit 100,000 watch time hours and 10,000 subscribers, didn't you? Now you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours, everybody. And the dad wants to do it, don't they? But what I
Yeah.
want to make is this Johnny Horsecock, he's eating off my plate now. So there you go. He's already on the back foot. He's thinking, I need to get something going here because this all could come to an end. Now, I noticed that he's singing Bricktop's praises and Eddie's at the moment, but oh, naughty, 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 Johnny. When Johnny were riding high at Sky with Super Bean, what happened? He had his size 14s planted firmly on Bricktop's neck, didn't he? Him and Super Bean. Oh, yeah. And then when Eddie went to the zone, and Adrian Mole came in at Sky, aka Ben Shalom. Well, he had his feet planted firmly on Eddie's neck then. Now all of a sudden they're all swapping spit in the shower, aren't they? Turncoats.
You know what? Everyone thinks they can do this channel stuff, right? And then they realize how expensive it is to get all those fancy cameras, all the lighting, the venue, pay guests to come up, and then you're only doing 20,000 views, and you're like, I made a loss on that.
Yeah, I was. I was looking earlier. And the most I've ever had off a video, my most viewed video is 140,000.
John
Right.
Fury.
The Mickey Fio job when I went to Leeds
Yeah.
to Crawford Ashley, the Crawford Ashley video.
Yeah.
Shout out to Crawford Ashley. I love you to death. Hope you're well. £342, 16 pence. Right, £342, 16 pence. And you stop earning after the first week on video. People think you've got that for years. No, that's it now. I don't earn anymore. And that cost me £450 to do. There you go. You know the helmets of the month. So we're looking at all them, right? And then we're looking. They were 220 to do. Some were 180. They were pulling 12, 13 quid in. So the investment went in the tech guys and me trying to be funny, man. We all fancy stuff and all that. Losing money hand over fist. But people don't see all that, do they? Studios and that. Yeah, my childhood friend Kevin Hall and his sister, they got me the studio. I never had to pay anything for that for 6 years. You know, that's gone now. He's got factory up, and I was retired to breed horses and that. But the point I want to make.
What happened to all the Coca-Cola that was in there?
Well, he had he handed it all out.
Did he?
Down toilet that Terry. Oh, he lost.
I would have come and got some.
He had that 19-year Coca-Cola, and he lost it because nobody in the country, as you know all this because you were giving him advice about finance, weren't you? Nobody in the country is buying Coca-Cola like they used to, but Coca-Cola they wouldn't reduce the price. They said no, we have to set a precedent here. We're a brand, which is fair enough. People are going shopping and they're buying the cheap stuff, aren't they? Now thinking, yeah, it's only cola like you get in a pub. So they lost the packaging deal after 19 years, the Coca-Cola one. And I think after that, the writing were on the wall for the last 2 years up there. You see where I'm coming from? Because that were a massive contract he had that. But that's the recession for it. But by the by, nobody understands what goes into doing something like this. No. And Horsecock, he can just do Zooms and all his own videos, but I don't see him doing any production stuff like what I were doing when I was bouncing about with Mickey Fio and stuff like that with billboards and all that. Nobody invested in the channel like I did. But I've had my legs cut off from the beginning anyway, and now on here. 8 years, 16,000 subs, is it? Or just a couple, 50 people off, 40 people off 16,000. And it's 8 years next month. So what's that? 2,000 subs a year? Legs cut off from the beginning, and I. But they're all watching. The people in boxing are watching because I know. I'm not bothered about the casuals. The people in boxing, you know what? And you know why they watch? because they're thinking, what's he gonna fucking say next? But who can stop me doing these, Terry? The people have tried, haven't they, for 8 years?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna stop me. I'm just getting worse and worse, aren't I? I'm
There's
just
always
getting
that
worse.
dilemma.
My family say, "Oh, you're getting even worse, Russell. You haven't changed." So, but it is what it is. But let's see them put money into production, Coogan and all them. Let's see them dip into their pockets, their own pockets, like I used to, or like Kevin used to. They're not going to do, are they? Because they've got access, these people. But if they didn't have access, would they be throwing thousands at it like I've done? I've done over 150 production videos. Go pick up invoices for all of them, and he didn't pay
No,
for
but
a single one
you
of
know
them.
what? No, but let's give Coogan his due. Yeah. There was a time when he was doing this and there was no access. He had to create the access.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, we only,
At the
yeah,
beginning, it looks like now he's been squeezed out now, doesn't it? He only gets odd gig here and there, doesn't he? Now, with
mate,
Big Top and Eddie and stuff like that.
everything, everything has its time. Now you're seeing your favorite man, Boxing King Media, is now doing his thing. He's probably doing the more interesting content right now.
Yeah, but let's have it right. He's got 1.1 million subscribers and he averages 27,000. So what are the other 1.08 million doing? Do they even exist? We're talking boxing here, like you said to me. Boxing is a niche sport. It's smaller than fishing. Do you know it's smaller than snooker? It's
Yeah,
small, it has less traffic than snooker, right? It's a very, very tiny niche sport, boxing. People don't understand that. It's even smaller than table tennis, right? If you go look at all the analytics. So you
yeah.
called this ages ago. So all these people on YouTube with over a million plus subscribers, they're bigger than Jonathan Ross. Why are they not on ITV? Because they don't exist, these subscribers. We know that because we paid tech guys to tell us. You and Rico were pointing it out, and I were like, "Oh, he didn't."
Ah.
And we know now, don't we? They're all cheating. But Officer Dibble, PC Gully, yeah, he is doing all right, isn't he? With the questions, he does well. Wherever I come out with, he skirts around it and puts his spin on it because people send me stuff all the time. And if him nicking bits off me's good, that's brilliant, mate. Because it means that they're fucking watching me, doesn't it? You know what I
You two need to do a channel, like a
mean?
show. There
We
needs
don't
to now.
feel
You do, you
it.
do, you do.
Not for me, him.
Come on, Russ.
But he is asking better questions, but he ain't for me. I won't like to think he was going to come through this door and have a fucking cup of coffee with me. Him, no chance. He won't get through the door, mate. And he won't get a blue ribbon biscuit. So, do you want to go on to part two, Terry? See you in a minute. All right. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Yeah, it's my birthday in a few hours, but I'm on it now. I've got my splint off for the weekend, but okay, doke. Uh, Pokers International YouTube's our sister channel, and the sponsors are pinned up in the comment section. Human Nutrients, we're always there or thereabouts, aren't we? Big shout out to Spartan Demolition as well, Scott Brunt's company. I hope you're well. Without sponsors in this sport, we wouldn't do anything, would we? All right. Peace out. Oh, and by the way, I hope everybody enjoyed that with Max last night. Oh, Big Max there. Are you calling Rhino out or not, Max? No, he wasn't. But he was off the phone. But when it come down to it, Rhino's not for me. He's not in my league. Go on, Max. We love you, really.